Hey everyone, Shaun Stevenson here, author of the Throne series, and today I'm reviewing book number 5 in the Black Hole Radio series called Furilani by Ann Birdgenaw. This is a book that I chose through Readsy Discovery. I didn't actually know it was book 5 in the series until I had chosen it for Readsy Discovery. I'm one of their reviewers. This is not sponsored by Readsy Discovery or anything like that. I'm one of their book reviewers reviewing a lot of indie reads and a lot of smaller press reads, which I really love to support. So I'm excited to be here reviewing another one of those for you. And I gotta say, this was a pretty fun read. So let's talk about Black Hole Radio for a second. I have another video that I just did that's a review of books 1 through 4 of the series, so you can kind of get an overview of what's happening if you really want to know more about those first 4 books in the series. This is a review of book number 5, Furilani. So in Black Hole Radio, the basic premise is these 3 kids, Hawk, Celeste, and Matt, they have a space club at Hawk's house. And in the garage attached to the space club room, there is a mysterious radio that is attached to a black hole. And when it starts to beep, you know that they are about to go on an intergalactic adventure through outer space. So Hawk, Celeste, and Matt, they are having a lot of fun in life. They are doing all the regular kid things, but they are also having these intergalactic adventures on planets across the, not just solar system, not just galaxy, but universe. So there's a little bit of mystery here. Where did this radio come from? How did this radio end up in Hawk's garage? He knows it's from his grandpa, but he's learning slowly throughout these books about his grandpa. And there's more than meets the eye to Hawk's grandpa, because he definitely knew about this radio and went on his own intergalactic adventures when he was younger. But why did he never tell Hawk? That is an important question. In this particular book, Hawk, Celeste, and Matt, they go through the wormhole that's connected to this radio to another planet called Furilani. And when they get to Furilani, they know that the radio always sends them somewhere where they need to help somebody. So they get to this planet and they're wondering, who are we supposed to help? And that is when they are arrested by the planetary chief, who is not so excited that they are there because he thinks that they are spies trying to find out what is going on the planet. Now, there's a very interesting thing going on because there are these creatures that I don't want to say a ton about, but they are so cute. I kept thinking the whole time, I was like, can that creature be real? Because that is amazing. There are these little creatures in this story called sploots. And the best way I can think to describe them is if you've ever seen the Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland, that 1980s movie by Christopher Columbus, Icarus, the flying squirrel, they are kind of like that, only they have chameleon powers and can change colors and blend into the scenery. And they are just so great. I kept thinking, Ann Birdgenaw, why I gotta stick these little creatures in here, because they're just amazing. These are such a great, amazing creature that Ann Birdgenaw has created for this series. I loved it. There's also in this series some interesting things going on in the background usually. Each one of these books usually has some kind of a message to them. And book number 5 also has a message to it. The messages they never feel like they're, I'm a message and I'm trying to teach you stuff. They're very blended in organically to what is happening in the storyline. And that is the case here. The message is good and strong, but it's also blended in, and I don't really want to say much about it because that would be spoilers, and this is a spoiler-free review. Now, one thing to know about this series is it's science fiction, obviously. We're talking about wormholes, planets, intergalactic adventures. This is a science fiction series really for early readers, like early chapter book readers. And I think kids who love science fiction, love adventure, love cute creatures, obviously, and also who are into some silliness would really like this series. These books are not long. They're like 120 pages, and usually like every chapter has a full page illustration along with it, which I really liked the illustrations in this book too. I thought the illustrator did a really great job capturing some of the different scenes and aliens and different moments that were being explored in the narrative. So these books are short, they're quick reads, they're great for early readers, but they are a little silly. What I mean by that is they sometimes in earlier books have had things like booger aliens and things like that, so it's very silly and very campy in some ways. And I was at first kind of thinking, oh, I don't know if I love this so much. I wish this was a tiny bit more serious. But then I figured out what the comparison title to this series really is, and I thought, oh, that's why it's a little silly, and that's great. Because these books, they have that little bit of an educational piece, kind of like the 39 Clues, where you're kind of reading and you learn stuff about different people in history, but there's a lot of action and adventure. But those books are a lot more serious than this series is. And this series, while some might compare it to like Magic Tree House, even those I don't feel like are quite as silly as this. I would compare this more to Magic School Bus. I think that these books are kind of like Magic School Bus entries, where there is a lot of zany silliness going on, but you're kind of along for the ride for it. You're like okay with it because it's so wild what's happening in the story that you're all right with it. And the characters are very heartwarming. I really like the characters that Ann Birdgenaw has created here because they are characters who feel like real kids. Sometimes you can read stories and the kids feel a little bit like cardboard that are kind of leading you through the plot points. Like that happens a lot in Goosebumps books. You kind of are reading a Goosebumps book and you kind of know, I'm not here for characters. I'm here for plot and spookiness because that's what these books are about. There's not really character development going on in a Goosebumps book. But in these books, there's some pretty good character development going on. And I will say these kids feel very real, very fleshed out, very much explored in their life of who they are, what they like, what they don't like, but also their personalities. And I think that it's really, really well done. I think Ann Birdgenaw's really captured kids in a very good way and makes it very believable. The kids make mistakes. They are not Gary Stews and Mary Sues. They make mistakes, but they work together to save the day. And I will say, this particular book had a pretty funny ending. And I thought, well, that is original and clever, I gotta say, and I think it's great. It was just a lot of fun. This was a fun read with a lot of fun characters, some good action, and some pretty scary moments too. There is one scene up in the mountains where I thought, oh, that's kind of a little creepy. And so it also goes there and has a good time doing it and also makes a lot of jokes. And I don't know if I've ever read a book series with more high fives than this one. The kids are always high-fiving each other, which kind of just added to the silliness factor and the Magic School Busness of it. So I really had a great time reading this book, Furilani. And like I said, I think it has a great message that's really important, a really good thing to say about the ways that we interact with our environments. And that was all I will say, because I don't want to give anything away about this because I think it's fun. I think this is a perfect summer reading kind of book series. There are 5 books out. Kids that love early chapter book readers will plow through these and have a lot of fun reading them, I think. So it's great. If you've got a kid who loves sci-fi and is a great early reader, this is a great series for him. Or if you like science fiction and you like quick reads that take maybe like an hour, if even, to read, go for it. See what you think. Just know that the first book and the second book are kind of really silly, and then they get a little more serious and a little more going on, a little building into the mystery of the radio in books 3 and 4 and 5. So I really had a good time reading this book overall. In fact, I would give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I thought this was a really solid book, a lot of fun. I had a great time reading it. So stay tuned for book number 6, which will be coming out sometime soon from the Black Hole Radio series. And until next time, everybody, keep reading. Bye.